Hi and welcome. In this video, what is the best camera in 2018? You get my opinion in this video.
My name is Benjamin Jaworskyj, photographer and adventurer. 10 years ago, I started to teach myself photography. Today, I travel the world as a professional photographer and filmmaker. Learn from my experiences, mistakes and tips, and join me on my photography adventures.
I get this question almost every day on Facebook, Instagram, email, wherever you can reach me with. And people ask me, Ben, what camera should I buy? Which camera can you recommend? And that's quite a hard question because I usually use whatever I have. And I have the Sony a7R II now for 1.5 years. I'm quite satisfied with this camera. But of course, I thought as well, what camera will I buy if I lose my camera, if it gets broken, or if somebody steals it? Would I buy the same camera, the a7R II, or is there maybe another camera which is more interesting, maybe as well in the price or with a price tag or something which is out there on the market? So I give you my opinion in 2018, which camera I would buy if I have to buy a new camera and don't have my camera, because I'm very satisfied with this camera and I'm not the guy that changes camera like every year or like underpants like every year, you know. And yeah, so let's start. I made some great research in the internet with a price, with features that are important for me, and everything in this video is just my opinion. I photograph landscapes, I do a lot of video stuff as well, so that's features the camera should have. I like full frame, so I focus on full frame cameras. Most of them, I will give you some more on a budget things, but I think I would do a whole video about on a budget as well, so maybe under 600 euro, under 700 euro something as well. But in this video it's about my camera that I would use if I lose my camera, so full frame and stuff, and expensive maybe sometimes, so you will see. Okay, let's start. I have here a quick list. And I just looked in the internet, what are the best cameras you can buy, not the highest price, like not 6,000 euro, but in the range with the a7R II. So a7R II, for me important is dynamic range, so I will talk about dynamic range. For people that don't know that, for landscape photography, dynamic range is good because you can save a lot of information from high to dark in one image. As well for filming it's good. Some people consider the cinematic look with dynamic range as well, because you can see a lot from white to black. Let's start with the a7R II. 14 stops of dynamic range, 4K video, sensor stabilization, good ISO performance, so you can photograph with a high ISO without having much noise, and the camera costs today $2,400. It's not super expensive, it's not super cheap, but actually it's a quite good price. I used this camera, as I mentioned, 1.5 years, so this is the first camera I would consider. Let's check the next one. a7R III just came out, 14.7 stops dynamic range, 3,500 euro. It has some more features like pixel shifting and some other stuff, bigger battery, a bit other body and stuff, but the same sensor like the 7R II, but costs 1,000 euro and a bit more. So quite expensive, I would say. Let's go on. Canon 5D Mark IV. 13.6 stops dynamic range, not bad for a Canon, I would say. Has no lock unless you pay $100 extra. Lock is a very flat picture profile, and you can do a lot of grading with that, and that's kind of important when you want to have a more cinematic look like the dynamic range, but as well the lock profile is important. So the Canon don't has it unless you pay 100 extra, so it would cost 3,400. I like this feature, so I need it in my camera. So 3,400 euro. It's 100 euro cheaper than the 7R II. Nikon D850, very hyped camera, 14.8 stops dynamic range, so more than my a7R II, quite interesting. Video 4K as well, so not a bad camera in video. Nikon was all the time pretty lame with like every innovation. They had good sensors, but not the great menu, and I did not like Nikon. But this camera is quite interesting, so yeah, but 3,300 euro as well. A lot of dynamic range, which is important for me. Filming is good as well. It has no lock as well, that's a disadvantage. I think all of the four are very great cameras, and I would consider, if I would buy a camera today, all of the four. But when it comes to the price compared to the features, what I need and for the value you get, I would say the A7R II is amazing because it costs €1,000 less than all of the three other cameras. So quite amazing. But I have some other cameras here. I have the A7 II. So not R2, S2 or anything, A7 II. It has 13 stops of dynamic range, so not much less than the Canon 5D Mark IV, and it costs only €1,400. 1,400, that's $2,000 less than the Canon camera. Not bad. So if I would consider the price as important, I think I would go with the A7 II because it has good dynamic range, it has a lot of features, it has great filming, sensor stabilization, a lot of fancy stuff, and it's cheap as well. When I would only go for filming, I have three more cameras for you. The GH5 by Panasonic, €1,500. You have to buy the log extra as well. It's only micro four thirds, but those are the only disadvantages I would see with that camera. It's quite affordable as well, and especially made for filming. So if you're only interested in filming, check out this camera as well. And if you want to look after the price even more, check out the A6300. It costs under €1,000, has S-Log as well, great dynamic range, is APS-C, so bigger sensor than the Panasonic, but has no stabilization in the sensor. That's the only disadvantage I would see, but it costs only thousands or 900 something euro or dollar. Quite a good price. Of course, there are other cameras on the market like the A9 by Sony, like the 5DSR, like the Canon 6D Mark II, but those are not interesting cameras for me. They are made for different purpose. The 6D Mark II is like the 6D. I had it like 5 years ago. It has almost the same technology. No rant against Canon, but that's not an interesting camera for me. The 5DSR has only 12.6 stops dynamic range, but costs €3,700, so over €1,200 more than the A7R II. So yeah, I think from a today's perspective, still go with the A7R II if I want the best price to value relation. But if I don't look for the price, I think I would go either with a Nikon, that I would say that any day. I did not ever thought about that, but with a Nikon D850, it's great dynamic range, great features, it's pretty hyped, so it must be a good camera. I did not test it myself, but I would definitely take a look before I buy, but I would take a look at that camera. And if not, it's quite more expensive, €200 more, $200 more, the A7R III. It costs $3,500, but has 14.7 stops dynamic range, so almost the same. It's mirrorless, which I like more, and yeah. So that's my opinion on the cameras that I would buy in 2018, or what I would buy in 2018. As I mentioned, it's just my opinion. You can buy whatever you like. It's full frame, it's full landscape and filming, and I took that in consideration. And of course, there are cameras like Fuji and Olympus, but they're too hipster for me. They're too cool. I'm not cool enough to use a Olympus camera. No, honestly, I tried to work with them, but they did not convince me. But maybe you have a different opinion on that. That's why I did not take them into consideration. All of the cameras I talked about, of course, you find in the video description below. What is the camera you would buy from the ones I just spoke about? Or can you agree with me, or do you disagree maybe with me? Just write it in the comments below. And if you want to see a video about the camera I would buy in 2018 on a budget, maybe under 700, under 1,000, you tell me whatever I should do in a video. Just write it in the comments below what you're interested in. Quick commercial: if you want to learn more about photography, especially landscape photography, check out learnfromben.com. This is my website, and there you find courses filmed in Norway about landscape photography, all the essentials, as well about image editing. Learnfromben.com. I see you in the next video. We're going straight to the 200,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for that. And yeah, take great photos. See ya.